Namaste and welcome to class. And thank you so much for sitting with me with your undivided attention, especially in this site. We are in La Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta, where it's a mountain isolated from the rest of the Andes, and it meets the ocean in the front. On the other side is beautiful bays, and on the north side is the desert. So it has snow and everything, but it's lush. And it's a special power place. I hope one day you can come with me. And in today's class, we are having a surprise. We are having an invitation and some themes that everybody has. And it's the theme of unfinished business in relationship to imagination, and in relationship to healing, and in relationship to how we can make the unfinished business finish, so we can progress in our life and our desires to improve ourselves. Actually, not to improve ourselves, just simply be more us. So let's define what is unfinished business. And for me, unfinished business is anything that have crossed your mind as an inspiration and you have not taken the responsibility to explore. And I say respondability, right? So let's not confuse terms of, oh, I just need to be so absolutely responsible. No, it's not about that kind of responsibility. It's about the ability to respond to your inspirations, to your life creations. So let's talk about 3 types of unfinished business, how it become unfinished business. It could be subtle, and it could be very tangible. Tangible, like it would be an unfinished business to be in this mountain and not to come and see the sunset here. That I would consider unfinished business. Unfinished business number 1 is things that you know you need to do, but it puts you in an uncomfortable place. For example, if I had a divorce and the time passed and you see that, you recognize that, yeah, that was an important passage in my life, and I am full of gratitude for that person, for my kids and my ex-husband to have given me the opportunity to interact in this way. And more than the gratitude is to the acknowledgement that I still love my ex-husband or my ex-wife. And that puts you in a place of odd place, perhaps, or in a place of vulnerability where you need to recognize in front of the other, say, hi, thank you very much. And you know what? I still love you. That love that is in there, that is not expressed, if it's not expressed, it becomes an unfinished business. And the love that is expressed, it becomes an opportunity, an enthusiasm to interact with that person in another level. So that's one kind of unfinished business. Another unfinished business is when you overdo things on a theme. For example, I have a very good friend that is very responsible about her finances. And she called me the other day and say, Just Revenue Canada have called me and say that I owe them this amount. And I am so careful with my finances. How come this is happening? And as we were reflecting on the issue, we see that it's not about not paying the taxes, but to give too much impotence and the control of any kind, either if you're a mother with the children, or in finances, or in health. Some people are just, oh, I cannot take the sun because it will give me increment of pitta or whatever. that it becomes an unfinished business. And I tell you why. Because somehow that control is stopping the flow of how it should be. So any control in the mind, any form of judgment or overprotection of something, your personal space, your privacy, your any of that, it becomes an unfinished business, because it's cutting you off from having relationships and new opportunities in a different frequency, in a different dimension. So anything that holds you back in the past, in the way that you were, or in the frequency you were holding, it becomes an unfinished business. Another type of unfinished business is the lack of acknowledgement and presence on experiences in your life. You can call this traumas. And this is the base of the healing, actually, is, in the beginning of your healing career, it's about revisiting places where you were perceiving that you were hurt. If the mother went to the corner store and say, I will be back, and they say, oh, don't go, I will be alone. And you are in a moment in your growth where your aura is starting to separate from the aura of the mother. And an event like that can be seen in the brain of the child as abandonment, for example. And then it becomes an unfinished business, an emotional unfinished business, where you just need to revisit again and say, I was not really abandoned. It was just my brain, my little child brain, that was not knowing better how to perceive that walk into the corner store of my mom. So any tension that you do have at the level of the emotion and at the level of your biology, anything that is impressions that have not been unfolded. And I say impressions, I put you an example of, let's say I'm sitting in this chair and it have little grids, and when I lift up my arm, the grids are printed in my arm. Have you had that experience? Those are impressions. Our water element memorized those kind of patterns. In the same way, the mind offer impressions in the biology. And when they are not have the time to unfold, when they are still pressing, it becomes an unfinished business. It's a part of you that wants to get out of there, and it wants to thrive, and it wants to just continue the flow. The other part that is part of the unfinished business is things from past lives. I don't want to say past, but simultaneously dimensions that are near you and that are offering you odd experiences, and you don't pay attention to them. You don't see, oh yes, I do remember, let's say, my time in an island, and that moment I was called not my name, but another name, and I was in such a role. And it could be in a form of an inspiration, or it can be coming in a form of just a revelation. And you don't acknowledge as part of you, you don't embrace it as part of you, then that personal experience that was not acknowledged in other time, in other dimension, that unfinished thing, it will haunt you and prevent you from moving on. And that is such a tremendous awareness when we start looking into our memories. What are your unfinished business? Not necessarily with who, but your impressions, your desires. What did you promise yourself to go, to explore. And then you make an excuse and you say mental logic and say, oh no, I didn't write that book. I didn't took that trip. I didn't. And that I didn't, it becomes an unfinished business. It becomes a weight on you. It becomes an angry cell in your body that say, why you didn't do that? I was so ready. And the reverse of that chemistry, because every time that you think about something you want to do, and you immediately especially something that excites you, your whole entire body start creating hormones, secretions, start creating and preparing the terrain. The 5 elements start to be excited about it. And then the time pass and the 5 elements and the biology and your emotional body and your mind goes, well, then what happened? Why you are delaying this? And then you give, of course, a clever, very clever reason why not. But in that, you are really condemning your next step or your potentiality. It's starting to rain here. And in the process of the healing, you must revisit the unfinished business. And it's not only revisiting, but also you need to imagine or give a point of direction towards that part of yourself. Let's take, for example, the child that the mother went to the store and the child perceived that as a abandonment. So you revisit, you encounter the cellular memory on that. You may have the little tears that you didn't have time to tear or to let them out. And then in that acknowledgement, that release, the next step is to imagine how you would like that child to be. So it's a direction where you say, calm down, mom is just going to the corner store, and imagine that you can go to the room, a new room, and do something that is new for you. The child may say, oh no, I don't know what to do, have a little tantrum, a little resistance to cross something that it doesn't exist in his world. But that permission and that support is part of using the power of imagination in your healing and in your transcending the unfinished business. But things don't stop there. It's not only imagining, because in the imagination you're giving the direction of that child, create something new. Rather than say, oh, why you don't play with your dolls? Or no. Say, let's create something new. You put the child from tantrum to a space of creativity, a space of construction. And that's where the respect comes, where you're not telling yourself what to do, but you are giving the room for your higher self to come in and start consolidating more of why you're here, right? That wiring that you have already inside and that is playing a role since you're born. So in every part of your unfinished business, in a small scale or in a large scale, we need to go through this process to be whole, to have a sense of rest and certain peace, so you don't die with luggage and all kind of things that are not really supporting your expansion and your movement to the next vibration. So the other thing I want to talk about unfinished business and imagination is an opportunity for you. If you have not received a scholarship before from us, from our school, I am opening a scholarships, 3 scholarships for anyone who wants to explore healing meditation through imagination, the power of imagination. Please visit the site. If this resonates with you, I'm looking forward to sit with you for 7 weeks. It's an online class and it's in a group interaction. It's a lot of fun. And at the same time, it gives you the opportunity to move yourself to another level. I want you to see the comments I have in other courses and see how people have react and progress and have a more connection with themselves through very simple things that we can do. And as a group, we get together and the power of the group is incredible. I thank you very much for sitting with me in this lesson, and I will see you next Sunday in our next one. Namaste.